Hi, I'm Catherine Mora. I'm the head book coach and publishing director at Change Empire Books, where we help coaches, speakers, and aspiring thought leaders write beautiful books and get them out into the world. This is Kat's Book Chat, where I cover different topics every day to do with writing, editing, and promoting your book. Today's topic is how to get book reviews on Amazon. Now, getting reviews is really, really important, especially if you're unknown, because you need that social proof to show people that it's worthwhile buying your book. There are lots of different ways that you can get reviews, but it's actually quite tricky because most people, to be honest, just can't be bothered to leave a review because what's in it for them really? So let's go through a few of the things. I'm having trouble speaking today. In terms of how many people are going to review your book, by the way, I think you can look at about 10% of readers. And keep in mind that when you're doing a big promo of your book, especially if you make it free or very, very cheap, lots of people may not even read it. And therefore, the amount of readers is smaller than the amount of downloads. And then the amount of reviews you get is a small percentage of those readers. So it is quite hard to get a review. Now, on the flip side of that, it's also against Amazon rules to incentivize people to give you a review. So you can't offer people like a gift card or a coaching session or anything to give reviews of your books. You can ask people to review it, but you can't offer them anything in exchange. So who can you ask? You can ask friends, obviously. With family, make sure they don't live with you because Amazon do delete reviews regularly, and if the person has the same address as you, they'll often or usually delete it. So that's probably a bit pointless trying to get family in your home to do it. Who else? Clients, Facebook contacts, your LinkedIn contacts. Then when you want to move on to people that you don't know, there's a couple of different ways that you can attract reviewers. So firstly, Amazon do have a list of their top 10,000 reviewers. They have changed what they include in terms of the information. You used to be able to export an Excel spreadsheet that had all of the information of those people. They don't do that anymore. They have something similar, but you can't get all of the contact details so easily now. The reviewers choose what they want to include. So it might be their website, for example. Then you have to go onto each individual reviewer's website and have a look at their requirements. So the timeline they require, like how many months or weeks, probably months, that they require to read your book, what type of book they read, how they want you to submit it to them, and they'll have a whole lot of rules normally. And that's because a lot of these top reviewers, get hundreds of book review requests. So they have to be fairly careful and selective in how they choose books to review. Now, you can find reviewers by finding similar books to yours that were well known. Look at the people who gave positive reviews, like 5-star and positive reviews, where they actually wrote a few sentences. And you can contact those reviewers. Like if you click on their username, they might have their contact details, and you can actually contact them and say, hey, I wrote a book very similar to blah, 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 which I saw that you really enjoyed. Do you want to read mine? Here it is, kind of thing. So you can actually contact people who have liked something similar. Now, beyond that, you might want to do a blog tour. So a blog tour is where you'll have a central person organizing book reviews and blog appearances around a certain genre. So when I released my novel, which was a chick lit, so aimed at women sort of 18 to 35, I did a chick lit blog tour. And it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? And so basically there was a central person, which was Samantha March, and she was in contact with all of these chick lit blogs. So all of these people who run blogs where they do reviews of chick lit books because they love them. And then she would say to them, hey guys, I've got this new book coming out. It's, called Sex, Lies and Cruising by Catherine Chapman, which was my pen name, who would like to review it. And I had paid for the top package, which was a minimum of 10 reviews, I think, something like that. So then 10 or 12 or something of those reviewers actually contacted her and said, yes, we'll be involved in that. Then I sent them a free copy of my book, and then they would do a review, which they put on Goodreads and Amazon, and then they would have me do something on their blog. So maybe an interview, or they'd do an excerpt from the book, or they would just do the review, or they would get me to write a guest post, something like that. And so over a 12-day period or whatever it was, then I was in all of these different blogs. So of course their followers who love chick lit then saw my book and bought it. and I had it going from my launch date. So that's another great thing to do if you can find a blog tour that covers your genre. What else have I got on my list? Oh, yes, you can ask people in the back of your book, like, if you enjoyed this, please leave me a review. It would mean a lot to me, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm an independent author, etc., etc., etc. So you can incentivize people that way. When you're marketing with your audience during your lead up to finishing your book and then promoting it, so I've covered that in another video where you do posts and things every day. You can also put together a launch team, and your launch team are people who are going to review your book on launch day, because the trick is with Amazon, you actually can't get reviews up there before your book is launched, which is a bit of a nightmare. So all the people who read it in the pre-launch period, where you might give them a free copy, you have to then send them reminders on launch day to say, hey, it's launch day, can you go into Amazon and please put in your book review? So that's something to keep in mind. But if you get a launch team where you're their friends or colleagues or clients who are going to share about your book and do a review, that can really help you get a handful of really great reviews, obviously at launch time, which is really important. There is a bit of a trick. People sometimes release a paperback version of their book on Amazon first, get reviews on that, and then they'll launch an ebook and have their own strategy around that launch, you know, making it free or putting it on the KDP Select list or something like that, like where they have free promotion days. And then when they do that launch, they actually join the two files together, the paperback and the ebook, and then you end up with reviews straight away that came from your paperback version. So there are some funny little strategies like that. Anyway, I think that's the end of it. I'm just having a quick look at my list. Oh yeah, there are different things like advanced distribution sites, things like what's that one called? Oh, Story Cartel, and a few others where you can actually go on there and you pay a bit of a membership to offer your book for review. So there are sort of lots of different options like that as well. I hope that's been helpful. This is a bit of a long one today. And it's funny, isn't it? When I think that this will only be a 3-minute video, I don't have a lot to say. It turns out to be a longer video than normal. So I hope that was helpful. Always message me your questions or topics for future videos. I'm going to drop a link below to my 45-step book writing and publishing checklist. And until next time, happy writing.